Hello everyone, I'm Amit Kumar Shikdar, a graduate student of Florida International University. Today I'm going to present a video about intrusion detection system on database management. This video is for a class project and an introductory video. The title of my video is an overview of database intrusion detection system approaches and challenges. As the title explains, we'll learn about different intrusion detection methods for database and discuss about the challenges in this video. The outline of the video is really simple. First, I will explain the motivation about why I chose this topic and what are the goals of this video. Then I will discuss about some of the attacks on database and why it is important to detect these attacks. My third focus is on different intrusion detection systems on database, how they work, what are their features, and how to implement them. Finally, I will discuss different challenges to implement an IDS on database and conclude my presentation. So, let's start. We are currently entering the age of data. Every communication from human to device and device to device has become data-centric. For example, in the model, you see communication via internet. You can see in the backend of this communication, there are different databases which stored all the necessary data for making this communication successful. Of course, there is a firewall and authentication server in the middle, but this can be easily compromised. Currently, we have seen an explosion of Internet of Things, which is the idea of connecting devices with each others. To implement this successfully, each device gets access to other devices' data. As a result, different user data such as username and passwords to one's medical information can be accessed from one device. So, this makes the attacks on database more vulnerable as attacker can get access to all the user-related data by compromising only one device. Over the past few years, we have seen different attacks on databases, and more recent attacks are coming every day. These are some sample news that I looked into the internet today. These are all the attacks in past few months. So, what is the need for now? The need is a mechanism or framework that can detect these attacks and alert users. And what is the solution? Well, the solution is pretty simple, and you know it. Yes, it's an intrusion detection system. So before we jump into the intrusion detection systems, let's see what threats can be possessed by databases. For data security, three important things to remember are integrity, confidentiality, and availability. So an attacker can attack in the database to corrupt data, which is an integrity attack. An attacker can aim to steal data, which is violation of confidentiality. And again, an attacker can make the database unavailable for normal operation, which is an availability attack. We can divide the attacks on database as internal and external attacks. In internal attacks, a legitimate user can become rogue and breaches the database by corrupting data or stealing data. Again, there may be external attacks which comes from outside attackers to compromise integrity, confidentiality, and availability of the database. Some of the common attacks are brute force attacks, which indicates to trial and error to get legitimate username and password of the database. Excessive privilege and privilege abuse is an internal attack of the database in which a legitimate user take advantage of the privilege and corrupt or steal data from the database. An attacker can exploit database service or inject different SQL command to leak data. Also, an attacker can make unnecessary query to make the database unavailable for the user, which is denial of service attack. Now, as we've seen different attacks on database and know why this is important to detect those attacks, let's see some of the approaches to build an intrusion detection system on database. So for the basic of intrusion detection system, we basically knows there is two types of intrusion detection system. One is the signature based intrusion detection system, and another is anomaly based intrusion detection system. As we are currently talking about database attacks, mainly anomaly based intrusion detection systems is used. So we will focus on different types of anomaly based intrusion detection system in our presentation. Our first approach is temporal analysis, which is related to time feature of a database. This approach focuses on temporal features such as time signatures and time span between user actions and duration between two actions. IDS can set a rule in the temporal feature to identify intrusion. For example, if an update command is invoked in the database, the IDS will check the expected update time, and if it is not matched with the time span of the predicted one, the IDS will consider this as an intrusion. Now, different timestamps can be used in the temporal analysis, such as the time to perform a task, to a time to perform a query, the time between two actions of the user. Different timestamps can be considered as feature of this analysis. Our second approach is dependency and relation analysis on database, which computes dependencies and relations between user action. A user profile is created for each user of the database, and different features such as accessed attributes, input commands are extracted from that. Role-based access can be integrated on this IDS. In figure, we see a basic structure of dependency and relation analysis. Here, an audit log is used to create profiles for the users. When a user sends a query, detection engine checks the user profile and determine whether the query is benign or malicious. And based on the decision from detection engine, response engine executes the command or alert the system. In this IDS, we can actually invoke different role-based access in the database. For each user, we can define a policy which data to be accessed by the user or which data can be denied from the user. So let's move on. Our next approach is sequence alignment analysis. In this approach, sequence of events is determined, and different classes are declared based on normal user behavior. The main feature of this IDS consists of sequences of accessed attributes, commands, and tables. An database can be composed of different tables and different attributes. One of the advantage of sequence alignment analysis is that it actually takes the whole database as a feature. We can integrate dependency and weighted sequence to improve the accuracy of the database. In figure, we can see a simple IDS. Here the IDS has three main parts. Sensitive sequence take inputs from audit log, support value, and the weight of the attributes to check the feature. Then sequence generator creates the sequence, and rule generator creates and checks the rule according to the sequence. These rules are actually invoked in the IDS, and when an user gives a query, it is actually executed based on this rule, like whether it is malicious or not. If malicious, what will happen? If it's legitimate, what will happen? These are all the policies that is defined by the rule generator. Another approach for database intrusion detection system is statistical analysis. This intrusion detection system is built on user behavior statistics. Here, a reference table is created and defined values are computed from the monitor table. These values include summarized statistics such as mean, median, standard deviation, and cardinality values. If the value from monitor table is below a threshold from reference table, the query or comment is considered as malicious. Statistical analysis can work efficiently with different machine learning techniques. Now, one of the drawback of these IDS is the threshold value. If the threshold value is very low, then some malicious queries or SQL command can get through from the IDS. If the threshold value is really high, then some of the legitimate or benign comments or benign queries can be considered as malicious. So to set up a threshold value, one should actually consider different features such as what is the normal behavior of the user, or what is the mean value of an attribute, and many more. Next, we have information theoretic analysis, which computes entropy and information gain to characterize user profile. For this, a data log is used to audit data and entropy is assigned to measure regularity of audit data. Audit data are divided into different classes based on the entropy. Now, for a new comment or query, the detector checks with the entropy level, and if the calculated entropy is lower, it is labeled as malicious behavior. Again, it has the same drawback as the statistical analysis. What will be the lowest entropy and what will be the highest entropy or the threshold entropy is one of the drawback of this IDS. To set up a lower entropy or a higher entropy, one should consider all the parameters. Command template can be used as a feature for IDS in database also. In IDS, a command log is used to monitor all user commands and create fingerprint for each normal user command. In figure, we can see command template based IDS for database. Here, user gives a new command which is checked against the fingerprint of previous commands and action is taken based on the decision of the detector. You can see there is three different different actions can be taken, like the query can be executed, the command can get back to the user, and there can be alert from the IDS also. Apart from these approaches, different machine learning based approaches are also used to detect attacks on a database. Machine learning are actually a new concept on database. Nowadays, machine learning is used in every other things like intrusion detection, language processing, and everything. So what is the benefit of using machine learning in the intrusion detection system of a database? The main advantage is that machine learning based approaches are easy to implement and offers different detection techniques. We can implement different algorithm for different kind of attacks, and it is proven that accuracy of an intrusion detection system is much higher when different algorithms are used for different attacks. To train machine learning based intrusion detection system, less time is needed, which is really important because whenever an attack is coming for a database, we have to respond really quickly, otherwise the data can be compromised. Another advantage of machine learning based approach is that it can predict the attack and take preventive measures immediately. Also, there is another advantage of machine learning based intrusion detection system, that is, it can actually help the intrusion detection system of a database to train by itself. For each attacks, it can improve itself by training with the data. Now, as we see different approaches for intrusion detection systems, let's see some of the research challenges to build intrusion detection system for database. The number of users and the data is increasing rapidly. An IDS for database should handle this big amount of data efficiently. Also, small changes in query can lead to malicious activity. An IDS should be aware of that also. As soon as an IDS detects an attack, it should alert user and evaluate the impact of the attack. An IDS should have real-time response and prevention capabilities to minimize the effect. Another important aspect of IDS is IDS benchmarking. Currently, no good benchmark is set for database intrusion detection system. It can be a prospective research idea for the future. So in conclusion, I want to say the attacks on database is increasing in every minute and users are having risk of compromised data every second. Secure data comes from a secure system, and to secure this database, we need an efficient intrusion detection system. Intrusion detection on database can be a promising research area as currently we are entering into the era of big data. So in conclusion, to protect the data we use and share every day, a secure, trustworthy intrusion detection system is needed. These are the references I used in this video. Thank you everyone for watching the video. A more detailed work on this will be given after the submission of this class project. Thanks.